Hi, I'm your host PJ Scher, and we're going to be talking about the infamous movie, The Room. You may have heard of it since it's regarded as the best, worst movie in history, filled with bad acting, bad green screen, and a nonsensical plot involving love and betrayal. The Room is regarded as a cult classic nowadays, with screenings held at cinemas where people dress up as the characters and overall have a good time with this nonsensical film. But did you know there are other things that make it crazy? Number one, Johnny was supposed to fly off in his car at the end of the movie after his death, but due to the film's budget, it never happened. Number two, Tommy Wiseau, the director of the film, spent $5,000 per month for 5 years to buy a billboard to promote the film, which actually soon became somewhat of a landmark due to the popularity of the film. Number three, since the film never turned out how Tommy wanted, the film is now regarded as a dark comedy. But while I'm at it, let me explain all the crazy stuff that happens in this movie. So basically, Johnny, played by Tommy Wiseau, the director, he is a banker and he loves his girlfriend Lisa very much, and they live in an apartment. But Lisa loves Johnny's best friend Mark. And honestly, that's basically the entire plot of the movie. But the movie also has random side plots throughout. One of the characters, Denny, who kind of just shows up. There's a scene where he has a run-in with a drug dealer. It's never talked about again. Lisa's mother mentions she has breast cancer. Is it integral? Is it very important? No, it's not brought up again. What happened to these side plots? No one knows, but my guess is that Tommy might have forgot about them. So even with all the side plots, it mostly focuses on Mark, Lisa, and Johnny, which then all accumulates at the end, where Johnny proceeds to kill himself. It's supposed to be an emotional scene, but it kind of goes something a little like this. Okay, just pretend I have black hair in the scene and I'm wearing a suit. Ah! I'm fed up with this world! Ah! Get out of my life! Goodbye, cruel world. So, this film also kind of has an infamous history with the making of it. A majority of it you can learn by reading The Disaster Artist, written by Greg Sestero, who also played Mark in the film. One of the most bizarre things about this film was how it got funded. So basically, Tommy funded the entire thing with a whole lot of money. No one knows where he got it from. Some people assumed he embezzled it, but they pretty much just rolled with it because this guy was making the money to make the film. And another majority of the infamous stuff was Tommy was sort of an oddball and kind of a jerk when it came to making the film, because obviously he wanted to make a film, but he was rude about it. The actor who played Lisa, she actually one day ran off crying off set because Tommy made fun of some pimples on her body, but she eventually did come back because she still wanted to make the film. And pretty much a majority of the stuff revolves around Tommy. He also, multiple times, flubbed his own lines from his own movie, and sometimes parts were so bad that they would have to redub his scenes. You could see him in some parts, which just makes it seem more off and odd. And the last thing I want to talk about, which is personally my favorite, so there's a scene in the movie when they're playing football in an alleyway, and they have this alleyway set. The thing is, the alleyway was real, but since Tommy wanted to make a blockbuster film, he's like, no, we make set for a movie. But they had the alleyway, but they just still made it. No reason why. Personally, it's really dumb, but I love it. So, we're gonna dive in what happened with some of the people. Most importantly, the main three. Tommy surprisingly went on to film a documentary about homelessness, which actually did pretty well and got him some awards. And this is really surprising, because it's him. He also made a sort of horror short called The House Drips Blood on Alex, which, if I'm correct, you can find on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, he also had a gaming show called The Tommy Wise Show, where he was abducted by aliens and forced to play video games. Honestly, I just appreciate the title. And despite everything that's happened with The Room, he became best friends with Greg Sestero again, and made a 2-part film called Best Friends, or Best Fiends, depending on how you read the poster. I don't remember much about it. I've seen some stuff. All I know, Tommy plays like this very oddball funeral director, while Greg kind of plays some guy who doesn't remember who he is, and he's making bank with Tommy robbing corpses or something like that. It's like not as bad of a film as The Room, but it's still somewhat of a crazy film from what I've heard. So yeah. Greg Sestero, as I've said before, went to write The Disaster Artist, a book retelling on how the film got made and what happened, which proceeded to become a hit film as well, with James Franco, his brother, Seth Rogen, and plenty of other actors. If I'm correct, this movie actually went on to win an Oscar. And I remember Tommy actually was there, and he tried to do a speech, but James Franco wouldn't let him because he knew Tommy might have gone off the rails a bit. So, yeah. I'm happy for Tommy. He somewhat made it, despite not being his film, but somewhat being. But yeah, good on him. Greg has also done some other acting at The Room, though they are mostly B movies. And lastly, Juliette Warden. I really could not find anything on her. So far, all she's done is like a bunch of B movies. I know one is about like a ghost shark. I've heard of the film, but never seen it. So, I assume it's just a really crazy film. And then, yeah, that's basically the most important people you should know of. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised some of them could find work after The Room, because that's not really the type of thing you want to put on your resume, people. Hi, I was in The Room. Oh, yeah, you were in that film. Great. But good on them for still pursuing their acting career. And good on Tommy for still directing, despite, you know, what he's done. But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So, that has been The Room, the Citizen Kane of bad movies.
God, it's not honestly, movie did suck, yeah, but I loved every part of it.
Yeah, it's quite a spectacle to behold, isn't it?
What would you rate it, brother?
I'd have to give it 2 thumbs up. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you out back again.